Let's talk about comfort food. You know, the kind of food that makes you feel good, warm, and cozy. It's the food that brings back memories, makes you feel at home, and can turn a bad day into a good one. Every country has its own version of comfort food. In Italy, it's a hearty bowl of pasta. In Japan, it's a steaming bowl of ramen. In the United States, it might be a classic mac and cheese. These dishes are more than just meals. They are a part of the culture and tradition. For Canadians, one dish stands out as the ultimate comfort food: poutine. This dish is not just a meal, it's an experience, a tradition, and a source of national pride. Imagine this: crispy golden French fries, fresh from the fryer. They're piled high, covered with cheese curds, those little pieces of yummy cheese that squeak when you bite into them. And then, the best part, rich, tasty gravy poured all over it. The hot gravy melts the cheese curds just enough to create a gooey, delicious mess that is simply irresistible. That, my friends, is poutine. It's a dish that brings people together, whether it's at a family dinner, a late-night snack after a night out, or a gathering with friends. Poutine comes from Quebec, Canada, and it's like a national treasure. It's a dish that has been embraced by Canadians from coast to coast, and it's a symbol of their culinary creativity. It's the perfect food after a long day, great with a hockey game, and a celebration of simple, yummy flavors. Whether you're in a fancy restaurant or a small diner, poutine is always a good idea. But poutine is more than just food. It's a big part of being Canadian. It's a symbol of their country, a testament to their love for hearty, comforting meals, and a showcase of how creative and delicious simple ingredients can be. So next time you find yourself in Canada, make sure to try poutine. It's more than just a dish. It's a taste of Canadian culture, a bite of their history, and a delicious way to experience the warmth and hospitality of this beautiful country. Poutine is not just a meal, it's a celebration of Canadian identity, a dish that tells a story, and a perfect example of how food can bring people together. Enjoy every bite and savor the flavors of this Canadian classic. What makes poutine so special? Is it the crispy fries, the squeaky cheese curds, or the rich, savory gravy? Or is it something more, something that transcends the sum of its parts? It's not just the ingredients, although they're important. The quality of each component plays a crucial role. Fresh potatoes cut just right, fried to a golden crisp. Cheese curds, preferably fresh and squeaky, adding a unique texture and flavor. And the gravy, oh the gravy, it must be rich and flavorful, perfectly seasoned. It's how they all work together. The mix of crunchy and soft, hot and cool, the amazing flavors. The fries provide a sturdy base, the cheese curds add a delightful chewiness, and the gravy ties everything together in a warm, comforting embrace. The crispy fries are the base, like a blank canvas. They need to be just right. Not too thick, not too thin, fried to perfection. They should be able to hold up under the weight of the cheese and gravy without becoming soggy. The cheese curds, often fresh and squeaky, add a fun chewiness and a tangy flavor. They should be scattered generously over the fries, each bite offering a bit of that unique texture and taste. And then there's the gravy. Oh, the gravy. It should be rich and savory with just the right amount of seasoning. It should be hot enough to melt the cheese curds slightly, creating a gooey, delicious mess. This is what makes poutine so good. The combination of textures and flavors, the way each component complements the others. It's a dish that's greater than the sum of its parts. It might be chicken gravy, beef gravy, or even vegetarian gravy. But it ties everything together. Each type of gravy brings its own unique flavor, adding another layer of complexity to the dish. It coats each fry and melts the cheese just right. The hot gravy softens the cheese curds, creating a creamy, melty texture that's simply irresistible. But poutine is more than just the ingredients. It's about the experience, the joy of sharing a meal with friends and family. It's about the memories made over a plate of this comforting, delicious dish. It's about the experience, the pure joy of eating this Canadian treat, the laughter, the conversations, the shared moments of delight as you dig into a plate of poutine. It's about sharing a meal with friends and family, making memories over a dish that's as comforting as it is delicious. Poutine is more than just food. It's a celebration of togetherness, a symbol of comfort and joy. Poutine has come a long way. It started in small restaurants in Quebec in the 1950s. It was a simple dish, a way to use leftovers and feed hungry people, but everyone loved it, and it quickly became a regional favorite, then a national favorite. Today you can find poutine everywhere in Canada, from fancy restaurants to roadside diners. Chefs and home cooks love it, and they've made lots of different versions. And it's famous outside of Canada too, with people all over the world enjoying poutine. To understand poutine, let's go back in time. We're going to Quebec, Canada, in the 1950s. Imagine small towns, busy streets, and the smell of maple syrup everywhere. It's a time of change after the war, and people love comfort food. In these towns, small restaurants called canteens in French were where everyone went. Families ate there after work, teenagers hung out, talking and eating burgers and fries. It was in these simple, friendly places that poutine was created. No one knows exactly who made the first poutine. It's a fun food mystery. There are many stories, many people who say they created poutine. Some say it was an accident, a surprise creation by a smart cook. Others say it was planned, made to satisfy a craving for something new and tasty. No matter the true story, poutine came from those small restaurants in Quebec. It was made with simple ingredients, showing how creative those cooks were. And like a good story, the tale of poutine is about the food and the people and places that made it. One story says a man named Fernand Lachance invented poutine. It was 1957 and Lachance owned a small restaurant called Le Lutin qui rit, the Laughing Elf, in Warwick, Quebec. This quaint little eatery was a popular spot for locals to grab a quick bite and enjoy some hearty homemade food. One day a regular customer named Eddie Lainesse came in with an unusual request. He asked Lachance to add cheese curds to his fries. This was not a common request at the time, but Lachance, always up for a culinary challenge, decided to give it a try. Lachance, known for his quick wit and sense of humor, responded with a laugh. He said, "Ça va faire une maudite poutine," which translates to, "That's going to make a big mess." Maybe he meant a mess on the plate, or maybe he meant a delicious mess. We don't know. But what we do know is that this combination of fries and cheese curds was just the beginning. Soon after, gravy was added to the mix, creating the iconic dish we now know as poutine. This new creation quickly became a hit among the locals. Everyone loved it, and soon everyone was talking about Lachance's creation. The dish spread beyond Warwick, becoming a beloved staple across Quebec and eventually, all of Canada. Today, poutine is celebrated as a quintessential Canadian comfort food, enjoyed by people from all walks of life. From that small-town restaurant, poutine became famous. Everyone in Quebec loved it. People loved the crispy fries, squeaky cheese, and tasty gravy. It was perfect for any time, a quick lunch, a late-night snack, or a big meal. As poutine became more popular, people started making different versions. Chefs and home cooks tried different gravies, cheeses, and toppings. What started as a simple dish became something lots of people could make their own way. In the 1960s and 1970s, poutine became even more popular. It wasn't just in small Quebec restaurants anymore. You could find it everywhere, from simple diners to fancy restaurants. Everyone loved it. By the 1980s, poutine was a huge part of Canadian culture. There were poutine festivals, it was in movies and TV shows, and different parts of Canada had their own special versions. Poutine was a Canadian favorite. Even though the basic poutine stayed the same, people started making new kinds. Chefs and home cooks tried new things, making exciting versions. Some used Canadian ingredients like smoked meat from Montreal. Others used ideas from other countries like Italian poutine with mozzarella and marinara sauce, or Mexican poutine with chorizo and jalapenos. There were so many possibilities, each one adding something new to poutine. As people traveled and shared information, poutine became famous outside of Canada. Food writers told everyone about this delicious dish, and people all over the world wanted to try it. Today you can find poutine in big cities like New York, London, and Tokyo. It's in fancy restaurants, food trucks, and even restaurants with Michelin stars. Poutine shows the world how creative Canadian food can be. So, why do people love poutine so much? It's simple but delicious. Salty, crispy fries, creamy, tangy cheese curds, and rich gravy. It's comforting and satisfying, reminding people of home and good times. But poutine is also creative. Chefs and home cooks can try different flavors and ingredients. That's why poutine is so popular. It's familiar but exciting, just like Canadian food. Want to try making poutine? Today, we'll learn how to make perfect poutine at home. It's easier than you think. With a few ingredients and simple steps, you'll be making poutine like a Canadian pro. First, get your ingredients: potatoes, fresh cheese curds, and rich gravy. We'll talk about each part. This isn't just about following a recipe, it's about understanding what makes poutine special. It's about the fun of cooking, the joy of making something tasty. So, let's get started. Great poutine starts with great fries. We want fries that are crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, and strong enough for all that cheese and gravy. Use russet potatoes, they're best for frying. Cut them into pieces, about ½ inch thick. Here's the secret: fry them twice. The first fry at a lower temperature cooks the potatoes, the second fry at a higher temperature makes them crispy. When your fries are golden brown and crispy, take them out of the fryer and add salt while they're still hot. The fries are the base of your poutine, so they need to be tasty. Now for the star, the cheese curds. These little pieces of cheese make poutine special. They're chewy, tangy, and make a fun squeaky sound. Find fresh cheese curds, maybe from a local cheesemaker. Fresh curds are softer and melt better. Don't use old cheese curds, they're too dry. Think about the flavor you want. Classic poutine uses mild cheddar curds, but you can try other kinds like mozzarella or pepper jack for a spicy kick. Finally, the gravy. The gravy ties everything together. It's rich and savory, coating the fries and melting the cheese. You can buy gravy, but making your own is easy and lets you control the flavor. Start with a roux, which is butter and flour cooked together. Then, add chicken or beef broth, salt, pepper, and maybe some thyme or rosemary. For a real Canadian taste, add a little bit of beef or chicken bouillon powder. This makes it extra savory. Now, the fun part. Putting your poutine together. This is where everything comes together. Start with a lot of hot, crispy fries. Add a layer of cheese curds. Now, the best part, the gravy. Pour hot gravy over the cheese curds, letting it cover the fries. Don't be afraid to use a lot of gravy, we want the cheese to melt. Serve your poutine right away while it's hot and the cheese curds are squeaky. Grab a fork, dig in, and enjoy this Canadian classic. Poutine is more than just fries, cheese curds, and gravy. It's a famous dish, a symbol of Canada, and shows how simple ingredients can become something special. Like Canada, poutine is a mix of different things. The crispy fries, the squeaky cheese curds, and the savory gravy create something comforting and exciting. It shows the warmth and fun of Canadian people. And like Canada's diverse people, there are many different kinds of poutine, each one special. From classic poutine to fancy versions with lobster or truffle oil, there's a poutine for everyone. Poutine started as a simple dish in Quebec, but now it's loved all over the world. Today you can find poutine in cities and towns across the globe. From cool restaurants to fancy ones, poutine is on the menu. Chefs all over the world love poutine, making their own versions. And with each new version, more people love poutine. The internet has helped poutine become famous. Food bloggers and people on social media share their love of poutine, making others want to try it. Poutine's story shows how powerful comfort food, sharing cultures, and creative cooking can be. It shows that simple food can be the best, and that food can bring people together and create happy memories. So if you want something comforting and exciting, make some poutine. It's a delicious way to experience Canadian culture, be creative in the kitchen, and make great memories. And as you enjoy each bite, remember you're not just eating a dish, you're enjoying something special that brings people together all over the world. Enjoy!